So far we have like created the picker, and now like let's make some more things. Like let's create a new view which would be image. So image would essentially make use of that selected anime state property as well. And now we can test finally that if it's even working or not. Like suppose if we change the value of the selected anime in the picker, then the image should also change, right? So for this purpose only, the images that I imported for it are named from 0 to 5, so it makes sense to change their values since they correspond to the corresponding value of the selected anime. I'm just adding some simple modifiers here to make it look more presentable, like for example resizable, scale to fit, and then a clip shape. It looks much better that way. Now you can also add some stroke to it, some shadow, and all of these normal properties that you could just if you google on about it, that which properties are useful to add to make your views look better, then you can easily like found about this find about this. So yeah, that's what I have done. Eventually I have added a frame property as well. This is all just simple modifiers, and if you even if you don't literally know about them, you could just command click on a property on which you want to change, and then it shows up. So it's really easy that way. So now we would be just moving forward with this image thing, and then afterwards we would just test it out that if it's even working or not. Yeah, so I was talking about that with the overlay thing, we can have a stroke around our view. So for this, I have selected a line width of 6 as I think it's okay. Yeah, you can yourself look at it that if you like add a stroke of 60, then it becomes too much. So I think this looks decent for now. So after we are done with all of this, let's just add the shadow property at the very last. Remember the way you list your modifiers, it really is important. If you were to list the shadow property up at top, then the shadow won't show up. And now you can see the active changing images. That's because selected anime property is being used inside image. An image can only read out this property since it doesn't have that dollar sign, but the picker has that dollar sign, and it's changing the property from 0 to 1 or to 2 because we are changing it on interacting with the picker. So that's essentially how the state property works. And just to show you that in the assets column, these are the images that are being used, and they are named as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is how we can make use of this property for showcasing our images. Since we have done this much, I feel like we should add a scroll view too. So it would make sense to like when we would be suggesting anime to the user based on their selection, then they can just scroll down and see that instead of packing everything up in a small congested place. So like it was quite easy. You just command click on the already present stack. It asks you to embed in a vstack or hstack. From there you can change its name. So it's quite simple. So now that we have done this much, we could just add some like text to it as well. Downward text like saying that this is what you should watch now. So yeah, you could do that. And maybe in some time we would add a navigation view to it as well. Why is navigation view necessary? Because our app essentially lacks any title to it, so we work on that too. But for now, let's just add that text I was talking about. So yeah, I would simply write like what you should watch now, and maybe give it a few modifiers that would be like some font style, some font weight, foreground color, background color, so to make it look more presentable. And that is what I am doing right now. It won't take a lot of time. These are essentially the similar property wrappers, not a property wrapper, I'm sorry, modifier. So these modifiers come in handy all the times, and if you just keep on like practicing with these, you would eventually get to remember them. So don't even have to think about that, and they're quite simple as well. If you just write the few keywords, then Swift automatically suggests you what you're looking for, and then you can just select it out from there. So now I'm just selecting out the appropriate font style to my text, and I think the title fits well since it's big enough to be readable easily. To be readable, I don't really need to add easily. Yeah. So since we are done with this much, let's just add some background color to it, and we are essentially done with our the some part of our app as well. It's completely half done till now, I would say. And we are just checking it for now, like yeah, it works in the scroll view. And now if I just change the values, and yeah, it works perfectly fine. So now in the next lesson we would be working on our app mode and completely defining it.